get confused, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually live. We are actually live. What's good? This is Steve Nyanumba, back again with Nyanumba Codes. Yeah, we rebranded the channel. Most of the people who would come here would think that this is actually tech chess. It's not. And you can definitely see that we've rebranded. We've gone back to a more personal brand because Tech Chess was a bit more generic. So I made that proclamation in the last live stream that we did here. So without wasting a lot of time, we're going to just go on and talk about what it is that we're doing today. So in essence, I have my website over here, stevenyanumba.com, although this is the more local version of it. And what I plan on doing is making it a bit more dynamic. So the sections that I have on this personal website are my homepage, my about me page, my what I do situation. Of course, this is a placeholder that you can actually just see, which we're going to hard edit. And then we have our section and another what I do section, which I need to get rid of course. We have, this is the testimonial section, which we're making a bit more dynamic. My work section is going to also be dynamic. My resume section is also going to be dynamic. And then we have our recent blogs. So these are the blog posts that we're going to be having, and we're also going to be making this a bit more dynamic. Then we have the contact section, which is also going to be more on the basis of receiving these requests and all that. Although we're going to obviously have to change some of these things depending on what it is that the person wants. We'll also have a drop down for that person to select what service they want to be done for them, and then we have them do the message if there's anything in particular that they wish to do. And yeah. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we begin with looking at our admin side. So if we go ahead and look at our admin side, I'm just going to come in here and use my email address. And then we are in, all right? So we have our, our admin dashboard at this point. This is where I'm going to be managing everything. So there's a part over here. So like there's users, for example. This I've already crafted in a way, but I want to be able to make it a bit better in the long run. Of course, there's a header that's supposed to be over here at the very top. There's some things that are gonna be happening over here. So yeah, so there's the user, there's the roles, there's the testimonials. There's the services and posts. So this is for the blog posts, for example. And then we have the portfolios, so my works and all that. Then we have the portfolio categories. Of course, now this comes in. If we come in here and add a new category, put the category name and we save it. We have the experiences. So these experiences are based on the resume, so experiences and education items. We've already crafted these things down quickly. So this is just basically a speed run of a stream, which I plan on holding up so that we can be able to understand that code is not something that is literally supposed to take a very long time, especially now that we have a lot of AI tools. We don't really need to take up that much time when we are dealing with code. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. So we start with the user's side. And of course, there's still some things that I need to edit. So let's actually start with that side. So we're going to start with the index side of things. I have this deflex, so I'm just going to come in here, delete that so we can see how it works. And then we're going to float this to the right. So I'm just going to come in here and do a float right, since we're using Bootstrap 4. So it's float right, not float end. Was it float right or float left? Or text left or text right, I think. Let's just do text right. Or margin left auto. Yeah, I think that one will work. Yeah, so you can see we have the list of users here, and then we have the add new user, which is just a link over here. We have our actions. Our actions is text center, and then this one here is class text center. What we should actually be doing here is, actually it's quite okay. I don't think there's anything much else to do here. I'm just going to remove these texts first. And we are good to go. So the buttons are lining up hand in hand like that. Something else I feel like we've not added, and that is, first of all, I need to reiterate this div, the entire thing, inside another div. So I'm just going to come in here and do a div. Then we put that div inside there, and then on the outside, I'm just going to do an X slot colon header. And in here, I'm going to just say users. And with that, I think we have our users header over here, which is quite decent. I think the job is done for the users table. So now we come into the create. The create, I had already had this done, although I want to defer it just a little bit. So of course, I'm just going to put the X slot colon header here, users, of course, and then I'm going to paste that there. I think the next thing that I may need to do here is maybe not create the password for the user, but it makes a lot more sense when you have it like that. So we'll change it in the long run in terms of, and I don't know why my chat is not functional. Docs chat. Yeah, there we go. So sign into chat. Just hold on. Yes, that's me. I'll sign into the chat. Continue. Excellent. Okay, so I think we're live now. We're good with the chat. So in essence, we've already created the users table. So even if we were to try and create another user, we will be able to create this other user. So I'll say add new user. It will load up the admin users create. Of course, we don't have any roles per se, because roles are supposed to be over here. So what we're supposed to do in this situation is we're going to go to Livewire admin users create. We are going to first of all declare roles, public roles, or actually not even declare public roles there. We're actually going to put it here, and then we're going to say roles. Actually, there's a way that what says PHP does it nowadays is I'll do it like this, and then I'll do role or something like that, I think. And then this is supposed to be like curly brackets. Nah, I'm thinking on the likes of JavaScript. So I'm just going to come in here and do role all. And now once we've done that, of course, the roles are going to come up here, admin, and all that stuff. You can see that we have the headers over here. So if I come in here and create another user, let's say I create test user, email is testuser@stevenyanumba.com. The role is the admin, and then the password is I don't know. The password may as well just be 1 2 3 4 5 6 and save. So there's a problem there. So inside our create, we have not categorically set the model. So wire model, and then over here for the roles, I'm just going to come in here and say user.role_ID. Right. So the reason why I've done role_ID is because inside the users we have the name, email, role ID, and password. So if we come here, you do user role ID. Well, it's actually already there. The models are already there. So I'm wondering why it's not working. Unless I'm in the wrong. No, I'm actually in the right place. Because you can see the username field is required here. If I come in here and look at my Livewire and look at this, so you can see user null, and the models have already been bound. Yeah, models have already been bound. Normally I wouldn't use a form. So I'm just going to come in here and remove that, remove the form. And then over here, button type submit. So I'm just going to come in here and do wire, click, and then save, right? Because that was the function that was on the form submit. So let's say click on that again. So you can see that it's already saved, right? So it being already saved, it's supposed to give me a notification. So the notification that I am supposed to get is a pop-up with Toast. So the one thing that I've not done is actually install Sweet Alerts here. I think I have, but I'm not sure. So if I'm just going to confirm that, I'm going to go to JS, app.js, and look, but I don't think it's been installed. So, it's actually here in the front, but it's not at the app.js level. So I'm just going to come in here, copy this, come in here, paste that here, and I think we are good to go. So now once that is done, I am just going to come in here and go into the terminal, and then I'm going to do a command nb, which is npm run build. For me, it only works. For you, it won't work. So don't try this at home. Right, and yeah, so now once I do that, then I am going to be able to actually just to confirm that my Toast is working over here. So Livewire on done. Yeah, so once this is all good, in fact, actually I'm just going to copy it from here because it works. This one works. So on initialization, if the event done is triggered, then please just send this events of the Toast so that you can be able to receive. Now, once I've done that edit, I think I'll just go to my create users, right? And then over here, once it is saved, right? This is dispatched an event success, users created successfully. On creating that, I want it to be reset. Actually, in fact, on saving, I don't even want it to dispatch anything because since this is the create method, I want it to redirect to this route, the admin users index. So that's generally what I need, right? So if I come in here and create test user 2, and then t2 at stevenumba.com, the role is admin and the password is tilde, I guess. Or let me just do it again. Okay, till 0. Then I save. It's supposed to actually redirect me back to the, the page. So there is probably something that is missing. Something that's not happening. So I just need to go ahead and check what situation we have inside our users management, because I'm sure the first user was saved, which is this one. So what's happening with the second user? Yeah. All right, so check this out, yeah? We don't have the mount function. So public function mount. And what that's going to do, I'm just going to come in and say this user is equal to a new user, right? And once that is done, if I come in here and click on this, it's going to automatically, on this side, it's going to automatically now start declaring stuff. So now let's say I come in here and declare that this is a test user at stevenumba.com. I'm actually just going to come in here and copy all this. Role is admin, and then I just come in here and save, right? It should work. What? Keep on forgetting I'm using Laravel version 10, no, version 11, sorry, with Livewire 3. So I'm just going to come in here now, because I'm not going to be asked to just go back to the documentation and actually look this up. All I'm just going to do here is I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to take this code. This is Livewire 2 rules. Do for me Livewire 3 rules by. Now I'm using I'm using ChatGPT Auto, so I don't think it can research, right? By going to the documentation. You can keep the old approach as it remains supported, which is not bad. Alternatively, Livewire 3, like that, right? So I could use this validate method over here, but it needs me to have those individual variables. But given that I am using this like a variable inside an object, then maybe this will work. But it should work generally. It's just puzzling me that All right, so password, public password. I'll just keep it like that for now, and then we can have here required minimum 8. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, don't know, but I don't know why it's starting to misbehave. But I mean, just have a feel here. How about we do this? Yeah, check this out. So I'm just going to come here and do try catch. Paste the code here, and this dispatch is what we're going to be using. And then done, and then we're going to do error. And then we say something went wrong. And then we're just going to come in and do a colon, space it out, and then we do the dot th get message. Actually, let me just uncomment this first, and then we see. So this button is not working. So there's actually something going on here. I've done a wire click, which is okay. I've bound all of these into the wire, the wire models and all that stuff. So I wonder, could it be that Livewire's scripts are not even active? And if that's the case, why are they not even active? Because I have them active here. Livewire script is active. Livewire styles is active. All the things that need to be active are active. So, like, what could be the situation here? It's puzzling. It's puzzling me heavily. All in all, I would imagine that there's a wire ignore somewhere here. Livewire version 3. That's livewire.laravel.com. Let's go to forms, and then we can see that well, this redirect, right? Okay, let's actually go back here and yeah, let's actually go back here and check. It's not being saved. I click save, it's just not working. And the network requests are also not working here. So what is it with this that is preventing it from going through? Could it be? Could it be that that's the situation? Like just forgetting that the parenthesis is what's active nowadays. Can it be that that's the situation? It's not even sending any requests, like at all. So I wonder why that is. This is the portfolio categories. Actually, let me close all. Then we open this again, create. I'll put a try catch. I've put a mount function. I've put my rules. I have password here. This user password is this password. And then when we go back to here, instead of having wire model user password, we'll just have wire model password. And we save that. Let's refresh. Everything seems just fine with the input tags, select, the form itself. BD0 or border transparent. It should be like this. That's okay. Create user. But there's absolutely nothing. What if I came in here and decided, okay, you know what, I want to edit the user. Of course, undefined variable rules, but once we put that there, what will happen? So I'm just going to come in here, do rules all. So it's clear that the mount function here is a problem. This user is equal to user find ID. And we save that. We run the ID through the mount function and we're good. But now why? Why is it not showing anything? I mean, we have our rules. We have our rules right here. It's not like the documentation has anything against us having our rules like this. Unless there's a change that we probably need to do in the Livewire documentation to use the old ways. But I don't understand. I really don't understand. Because you can see here, there are no rules. So what's happening? Yeah, I think it's something to do with just the config. So I'm just going to come in here, go to config, livewire, and then we look for legacy model binding. This is it. Okay, so once I've set that to true, I think that's what it is. So yeah, legacy model binding. That's it. That's simply it. User updated successfully. We go back. We add a new user. Let's just try again. So we come in here, do the test user. Email is testuser@stevenyanumba.com. Let's just run that. And password is that. So we come in here and do that. Something went wrong. The role ID field is required. So I just come in here, select again. I don't know if it's because it's the active one. But it needs to be hydrated properly. I don't understand. Oh yeah, so it's done. So role ID field is required. Like, why is it misbehaving like this? Is it because there's in that select we need to put an option that is without a value. We select it's selected and it's disabled. No, selected only. Then select your user's role. That's it. That's pretty much that, actually. And then select your user's role, select admin, save. The password must be at least 8 characters, so I'm just going to come in here and do that. Save it. Boom. So now we have 2 users. And it's because of this legacy model binding it's a problem. Show progress bar color. Progress bar true, progress bar color. Let's see. Well, I don't have a progress bar at the moment, so then we have inject morph markers. Pagination theme is here, so this is what I also wanted to change. Since we're using Bootstrap, we use Bootstrap. And yeah, I think there we are golden. Okay, so we come in here, we go to our create is working, our edit is working. I think that should do it. Yeah, it should do it. So for users, we're good. Now, when we go to the next situation, which is roles, roles are dependent solely on I'm forgetting on the permissions. So let's say we go to the roles section, we go to index, and then we kind of build up our roles with the pagination. So roles, role all. Actually, we have to do role paginate. And we're going to paginate by 5, I guess. And then over here, we will use with pagination. We'll not do much from that point onwards. There's a delete function that we need to create, but we won't just yet. Actually, yeah, we won't create the delete function. Then we'll do what? Where will we go after this? So after index, we go to create. But first, I need to create the table. So I'll just come and do the similar table to this index here. So I'll just come in here, copy everything, paste it here, change a few things. So over here instead, I'll do roles, list of roles, and I'll just do user tag. Yeah, user tag. And then we'll add new roles. Admin use FA user plus. FA plus. Let's just do FA plus. And then we'll come in here, admin roles, create. Add new roles is fine. So number, the name, and the number of users. And then we'll just do the permissions. And then we have the actions. So we come here, we have the, for each roles as a role, we have role name, we have role, what number of users, so role users count. Which is a function you can attach to like literally any object and it will do the count for you. Then we have the role permissions. Which is a JSON product actually. So I need to do this to an array and then reverse it in a list format. Then we have roles edit, and then we have the delete function. So over here, I'm just going to come here and do FA edit and FA trash. And that's it. So now if I come in and refresh this, of course there's going to be an error somewhere, I believe. Yeah, count on null. So the reason why it's count on null is because the user's product has not been declared inside our models. So if we come in here and go to our role model, then we come in here, we go to public function users. Okay, so it's users, and then we'll come in here and say return this has many user class, and that's it. Now we refresh and we're good. So HTML special characters, so must be of type string, but an array has been given. So if we come in here and check this out, yeah, inside our rules, the permissions is what we're talking about. So over here, I'll come in here, I'll say for each, and for each of the roles permissions, as permission, I want it to be listed down in a list. So li, I'll just do li, and then I'll come in here and say permission, and just leave it like that. Now we have this undefined variable user. Yes, it's true. So it should be role ID, and we're good. Now you can see the permissions are quite a bit over here. But there's a way I could do it so that it can be less stressful, I guess. Maybe do it like this so that it lists it across the board. Now, because we have a situation where the key or can just separate by commas. We can underline. Yeah, we could underline. Or we could do this, right? We could do role permissions count, since it's an array already. I forgot that this is an actual array. You can't do it on that, and that the same way you do it with the relationship object. So yeah, 33 permissions. So I'll just come in here and say permissions and users. Yeah. All right, so if I wanted to delete this, I could. And the delete button doesn't work just yet because there's no, this is a form, right? No, it's a table. So there's no function called delete inside our situation. Yeah, so I'm just going to come in here, go to my index here. Just going to come in here and create that function. So function delete. It passes in an ID, and then this ID, what we're going to do with it is we're going to come in here and say role is equal to role find ID. That's the first thing we're going to do. Then we'll come in here and check if role users count is greater than 0, then throw new exception, and then the exception we're going to say is now this exception here, I'm just going to come in here and do that, and then over here the message should be I don't know, there are users attached to this rule. Then I'm just going to come in here and then I'm just do a try catch, and this try catch I'm going to paste this there, and then set the catch. I'm just going to dispatch the event. So this dispatch. So the event is done. All right, so coming back to this, so dispatch event done, and then we have a success message over here, and this success message is going to say not success but error, and this error message is going to say something went wrong. And then I put the colon, space it out, and then I do the th get message. That's it. Which is nice. I think us being able to do that, if I come in here and delete, something went wrong, the user's attached to this rule. Right? But now the actual delete function. So throwing is like a return. It stops the function right there, right? So you can say throw. The reason why we're using that is because anything that is being thrown like an error, even through validation and validation exceptions, comes to this catch method and then delivers the message that needs to be delivered. So whatever message it may be, even whatever error that happens, even after finding anything really, all those errors are dispatched here. So now that we've outlined that, I'm just going to come in here and say role delete, right? And once we've deleted that role, then we're going to come in here and say we dispatch another event. And this time it's going to be a success message. And then we're going to say successfully deleted that role. No, successfully deleted role. Or role successfully deleted. Just like that. So if I come in here, add a new role, of course we don't have the table for that just yet. So I'm just going to come in here and do the create functions. Inside the create functions, we're going to do public role. And then we're going to do a mount function. And then we're going to say this role is equal to new role, like that. And every time we're going to hit save, so I'm going to do function save. It has to validate from somewhere, right? So I'm just going to take the same rules that we had in our users create, okay? The same protected rules array. And I'm going to come in here, paste them here. Okay, but now this time I'm just going to have role name, role permissions, and required, this should be, yeah, should be required. And then I think everything else is done, because if we go into the roles table, this is what we find, so name and permissions only. So that's it. Then we come in here to the new roles, then we come in here and save. So we come and just do this validate first. Now validate is going to be outside the try catch. Although I could put the validation inside the try catch so that we don't really necessarily have to have those errors written in red underneath the form labels. So it could work. So I'll come in here and say this validate, then this role save, right? And then we come in here and say this. Can actually come in here and redirect, return redirect. Or just do redirect route. Then we come in here and do admin.roles.index. Like that. Okay, now, like I had just said, the try catch is beneficial in that we don't have to really do that inside the validation. We don't have to do it inside the form itself. But in any case that the form itself needs a validation, I will probably leave this part out and then put this part in the try catch. So yeah, I guess we're good with this. And need to create the So this is what I'm going to do, right? Let's see what ChatGPT can do for us, right? This is on my users create. This is on my users create. What am I going to say? Users create Livewire model. I need one restructured for my roles create model using check boxes for permissions. The schema for the roles table is as follows. Then I come in here, get the schema. The schema is inside roles table. What am I building? Oh, well, welcome to the stream, man. Just doing my portfolio website, really. I think it's in the title, if you can check it out. But yeah, I believe it's in the title. So I'm obviously using ChatGPT in a way that that allows for some of this code to be auto-crafted. Why you use ChatGPT? I just because, I mean, I can't be asked. But I already have initial code. I'm just using ChatGPT to like speed up the process, because the process, this is literally a speed run. So I'm not like literally doing like a tutorial or such. Actually, I am sort of, but I'm also showing you or showing most people how to use ChatGPT, because in essence, this is, hold on. Available permissions. For each available permissions, this is supposed to be inside my roles model over here, my roles create model. So this is supposed to be available permissions, and then I'm going to come in here and do config. So because my permissions are hard-coded inside the config, it's inside config, should be inside config app. No, where did I keep it? Permissions, yeah, config permissions. Actually, it's just this. It's actually config permissions, just that. Yeah, config permissions. Okay, let's try. So you can see all these checkboxes. Now these checkboxes need to be separated. So I'm just going to do form check M3. So if I select that, you can see that my Livewire, you use Livewire? Yeah, I use Livewire all the time, all the damn time. I don't know why my Livewire is not being hydrated though. This is a state. Don't know why my Livewire is not being this. My dev tools are just not working all of a sudden. I need to get rid of that underscore and yeah. So the Livewire dev tools, I've just seen your chat. So the Livewire dev tools are like what I usually use for, like, if I need to check, let's say, you know, if I have bound all the necessary components properly together with the forms, let's say. So if I come in here and type, like, let's say my role name is like what, accountant, let's say. So if my role name is accountant, then I can probably just do some of these update and delete, like I don't know, maybe permissions to create, read, update, and delete these roles, and stuff like that. So now I come in here and save, and it should it should actually save. Why I click save? I don't understand why it's not saving. But the dev tools allow me to actually see these models. It's like Vue.js's dev tools. So Vue.js has dev tools, Livewire also has dev tools. But I don't know why they're not working. Yeah, most people don't know that Livewire has dev tools actually. They just go in raw, and debugging becomes hell for them. So it's just there's something wrong here. There's something wrong with my actual dev tools. So I don't understand why it's misbehaving like this. So go to the overview, because on this side, I'm sure. What? See, this admin roles create is still the main component over here, so I don't understand what's going on. Admin roles, you can see that. Okay, so yeah, I think I actually just needed to do that. Okay, so I'll just go to create a role. Let's see if it comes up. Livewire create. You can see the role. So now inside role we have the name. This is just the object for the state, what it is that we're actually editing. Then this is where, like, the permissions get hydrated and all. So now, given that we have it here inside our form check over here, wire model selected permissions, that's how it should be. Should it? Aha. So you can see selected permissions is inside our create over here. We're just going to come in here and just do public selected permissions, which is supposed to be an array. So yeah, now let's try and hydrate. So Why is it misbehaving again? Okay, selected permissions. So you can see we have our, it's an array. Let's call it junior. Let's say we have that, but it's not hydrating the permissions as expected. But you can see this array is actually working. So I can come in here and select all these, right? But now the problem comes in with the save functionality, right? So with the save functionality, the problem here is if we come in here and to the validate, let's actually do a try catch here so that we can use our dispatch. So this dispatch, the event is done, and then the error is, I don't know, something went wrong. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to keep this here copied inside my, because it works the same for every single model. So come in here and save. Something went wrong. The permissions field is required. So what I'm going to do here is, because there's this selected permissions situation over here, actually, I'll come in here, keep it like this, right? Save this. Okay. I'll select, actually, it should be an array. Yeah, it should be an array. Never mind. Everything was working well. So, so I come in here and select one after another. It will definitely go ahead and hydrate this point over here. So if I come in here, click save, junior, click save, it's supposed to come in here, this word over here, junior and all that. Let's see, actually. So the array is 4 here, then the object here is name, it's okay. So those 4 are fine. Now, let's say those are the only permissions that I'm going to be doing at this point. If that's the situation, then what I will be doing is, what I'll be doing is inside this, in the create rules, inside this part over here, before we save the rule, we're just going to come in and say this permissions is equal to this selected permissions. So this role permissions, and that's it. And then we save the roles. So now once that's done, then it will actually give us the success message. So permissions field is required. It keeps on saying that. So this role permissions, permissions field is required. Permissions field is required. Selected permissions, we're good here. Here we have the role name. The permissions field is required. Now, I think it's because of the validation here. Instead of role permissions, it should be selected permissions. Yeah. And we're good. So you can see the 4 permissions that are already attached to the junior. There are no users. If I come in here and click delete, the role has been successfully deleted. Now the problem is I don't want it to be an instant click and then all of a sudden, like this one, for example, an instant click and then it's already sending that request. I don't want it to do that. I want it to actually do a check. Once they do the check, let's say if we go to index here, they do the check to see if this person has confirmed. So I'm just going to do an on click before the wire click. So on click, prevent. Can you remember how it used to go? To on click prevent, confirm. So this confirmation is a text, I think. Are you sure you wish to delete this rule? And then it is a question, of course. Then given that it's supposed to be a question, true or false. If it's answered true, then you go ahead and proceed with the function. If not, we just do the event stop immediate propagation. I think that's it. I think that's what it's supposed to do. So come in here, click. No, it's supposed to actually do that. So on click, yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So come in here. Your question, what do you think the new feature about Laravel? What new features? Because there are multiple. There are many new features. There are many new features. This on click, there's something that used to couple it. Well, I like the new way they have middleware. That's one. I think the middleware functionalities are way better right now, because all I just really need to do, in a sense, is if I create a middleware that I want to use for all routes, all I do, let's say I create the middleware I've created it in here. Let's say check permission, right? So in that sense, if I want to use this check permission middleware everywhere, all I just need to do now at this point is I go to Bootstrap app, and then I come in here and say middleware use, and then I just put the check permission class. Once that is done, everywhere in this particular application uses that check permission. Now, uses that check permission in the sense that given that, let's say it was a static function, it doesn't take in any variables and it doesn't export any, and it doesn't give out any results. If that check permission is to be used everywhere, then it will also check, like, let's say, for example, if I want to use a subscription model for some of my apps, that check permission being used here can also be integrated with a lot of functionalities, given that there's a lot of functions that are being returned over here with this with middleware function. So rather than just returning it in a kernel through an array that you can't add extra functionalities with, this here has just revolutionized everything to do with permissions. And on top of that, I could just as well decide, okay, let's say I come in here to admin and edit. Let's say I edit the permissions to reduce, and then I try and access somewhere where I can't access permissions. It gives basis on why I should hard code my permissions rather than make them dynamic with a database. So right now in my application, I've done roles and permissions. I can do permissions, but permissions in essence are going hand in hand with the features of the application. Now, if I want to check out which permissions I need to put in my application, most of the time I'm going to go back to my routes and look at the different routes that I'm going to be using. Like, let's say, for example, if it's users, am I going to be editing users? Am I going to be creating users? Am I going to view the users list? Things like that. If I go to my roles, am I going to be able to create, edit, or delete roles? And so on and so forth. So those are things that need to be checked. In a case of that, that item needing to be checked, I think the way the middleware has been set up is very straightforward, as long as you've already mastered how you're going to go about it. But all in all, I think that's one of my favorite features. The other feature that I love, especially with Livewire, is the fact that it automatically binds depending on whatever mode of input you're going to be using. We've just seen a case of how I've input the roles permissions inside my application, so that we can be able to see how am I going to bind roles through checkboxes and allow them to be used inside a JSON format of my database. So my database of the roles, I've this roles column over here, the permissions column, is in JSON format. So every time I'm bringing it back out, it comes back out as an array. So every time if I look at it being used as an array inside my index roles over here, you can see I'm using count role permissions. The only way you can use this function over here is if this over here is an array. So every time this comes back out, it's an array. So yeah. And it works, because now you can definitely see that it's counting the permissions and it's giving me 33 different permissions. The permissions are hard-coded, and where they're hard-coded is over here, inside permissions.php, inside the config. So I've created this so that I can be able to add all those different permissions and they work very seamlessly, honestly. So it takes these permissions and uses them indefinitely inside my creation of these roles. So let's say, for example, if I was to minimize the number of permissions that I have over here, so I'll come in here and then do that. Okay. If I come here and go to add rules, you'll definitely see that the number of permissions have reduced. But if I change that up, refresh this, all the permissions come back out. Now the problem now that I've just opened that up, the problem with this particular situation is I'm trying to separate them. So I'm just probably going to do M5 over here so that it gives it space. But instead of doing that, and also instead of doing this form check here, what I will do, I'll row it, right? I'll row it from here. And then I'll do this for each inside the row, and I'll probably wrap this inside a column 1, right? So that there are like 12 per row. Could work. It's organized. So maybe if I do a column 2, it's even more organized. If I do a column 3, yeah, I think this is better. And then if I do a column MD3, column 4, this is actually much better. So if I come in here and do this, let's actually go to the mobile size. So if I come in here and do this, it now becomes a column 4. So let's just say column MD3, column SM4, and then column 6. So I come in here and refresh this. So this is now column 6. So if I come in here and now reduce it to the mobile size, this is the mobile size, at least I'm able to read some of these items. Now inside the labels, I'll probably now check out these labels. Maybe just do a small wording. Do a small wording so that this is quite fine. Yeah. So if I maximize it back into the size that it needs to be, this is how it appears. So I like this. This is much more organized. And then now if I come in here, copy this, I'll paste it inside my edit. And then I'll come in here and say, instead of create role, edit this role. And then I'll go back to my Livewire model for roles, create, copy everything. Actually, just copy these from here till here. Come to edit, paste it here, and then change a few things. The mount takes ID. So this role is equal to role find ID. And I need to import that class. So if I refresh this, this is fine. I'll go to the overview. I'll come in here and click on this, and it will show me all the permissions. So now the thing about this is the selected permissions needs to be indicated by these permissions. So I'll come in here and say this selected permissions is equal to this permissions, this roles permissions, role permissions. And I save that and refresh. Oh, and it shouldn't be available permissions. It should be, let me just go to the create. It says for each available permissions. It should be, actually, yeah, it should be available permissions. Yeah, just the same way I did this. I go to the edit. Boom. So you can definitely see that I can also uncheck these items and save, and then it has less permissions, 29. Very easy, very easy. So I'll just come in here, select them again, save, goes back to 33. It's quite simple. Whoever doesn't use Livewire when they're dealing with Laravel applications, man, this is the easiest thing you could do. The easiest. And now we're done with roles. We're definitely done with roles. We can do now post categories, we can do portfolio categories, and we finish with those, like those are the tiny ones. We could finish it so quickly. And think about also this portfolio categories. Let's actually go down to this. Now we're finished with users, we've done with roles. But admin must not edit the permissions, right? Well, permissions are dictated with, oh, you said You said thanks for the explanation. Yeah, you're welcome, man. That's what I'm here for. But admin must not edit the permissions. So here's the thing about the permissions is the permissions are dictated by the features of the application. So nobody can edit the permissions except for the person who's done the code itself. So in the code itself, that's why I declare the permissions. So I'm not going to be editing, like it's all hard coded, which means it only changes with the features of the application. If that's the situation, then because again, if we look at where these permissions are used as middleware, if you can check, right, where inside our routes, I would put a middleware here, right? I'll put a middleware here and says, and I'll say middleware. Then I'll come in here and say permission, and then I do a colon. Now the colon is where I put now the permission itself of what it is that I can do, right? And then I'll say create users, right? Or read users, okay? That goes hand in hand with this permission over here. Let me actually just show you so that you can see. It goes hand in hand with which permission. Let's actually just go back to the config. Where's my permissions file? Yeah, here it is. It goes hand in hand with this. All right, read role. We have the read permissions. Read users? Sorry. Well, I don't have read users here, so I can come in here and just create it. And then I'll come in and say read users. Okay. And I'll leave these as static as they can because they've already been used. But now, when you go back to over here, we have the read users functionality. Okay, we've made it a mandatory situation. If I come back here and click on read on this user situation over here, I'm not authorized to go in. And the reason why that is because that role was not there in the first place. Okay, so the essential thing I need to do is make sure that the admin has all the roles checked out. I have that in my seeds, actually. I have that in my database. So all I just need to do here is confirm that the roles are there. So I'll come in here and do roles. I'll go to the overview. I'll edit these permissions, and then you can see the users, read users, update users, and delete users. These ones were not there initially. So I'll come in here, select those. I'll select those, I save them, and then I can now be able to go into the users table. Yeah. So that's how I love to operate with my permissions. It's actually quite easy to deal with them like that, because the alternative also would have been I would have actually labeled them with numbers, with indexes, so that even if I'm to change the permissions themselves, right? If I'm to change the permissions themselves, I would be able to change the permissions, but they still maintain these what's this? The indexes, so that even if I'm to change this, the names of the permissions themselves, they will still be able to be dynamically updated. So actually, let's try that. So I'm just going to do one, right? Actually, yeah, we'll try that. Actually, we'll try that later. Let's actually finish up with these ones. Question: you have any repo for this project to check the code? No, I do not at the moment. I will make it available. Actually, no, I do. I actually do. Get remote. Because it updates automatically using CI/CD. So if you go to my GitHub repository, Steve Nyanumba, /stevenyanumba.get, this is literally the main repo area. So let's just open this. So this is it. And I don't think it's private at the moment. I will make it public after I'm done with it. But all in all, actually, you know what? Screw it. Let me make it public. Okay, you know what? Let me finish it. Then we will make it public, and yeah, then we will see. We will see how to go from there. But in any case, you'll see it very soon. Maybe by the end of this stream. Actually, by the end of the stream, you'll see it. Okay, so we're finishing this today. We'll go to the testimonial section, actually. We just go by these links, because all these links are what is being had within the system itself. So we go to the testimonials overview. Inside testimonials, let's see. Just going to close this, that, everything else, even my roles. So we go to testimonials, we go to the create section. We start with the public testimonial. Function is mount. We'll just come in and say this testimonial is equal to new testimonial. And then we'll have a delete function. So delete, no, this is the create. We'll have a save function. Oh, something I needed to do actually when I was dealing with the roles. Inside edit, instead of save, it needs to be update. Same thing with the create. So when I come to the edit, I'll come in here and user update. That's it. 10 minutes and I'll be back with more questions. No worries, man. No worries. I'm here to answer all questions that are being posed, especially when it comes to development with Livewire and Laravel and literally any other language that you see fit. Yeah. Okay, so our save functionality, we first have to validate. And then we'll come in here because it's a testimonial with all the nooks and crannies. So I'll just come in here and say this testimonial save. And then return redirect. Route. Then we come in here and we do admin.testimonials.index. Now inside this validate, we're just going to take all of this, put it in a try catch, paste it there, and then as always, we're going to be using a very good dispatch friend here. Now, what are we validating? We're validating some rules. Get rid of Copilot. I don't need Copilot. All I just need is ChatGPT and a dream. So rules. There we go. So we'll come in here, replace everything over here that has to do with users, so testimonials. So testimonial, and then we just need to take the table testimonials. So there's the author. Then there's the content. Content is required. It's not supposed to be in email format. And then we have the designation. Designation, like what or where do these people work. And then we have the image. The image is going to be separate at this point. So I'm just going to come in here and just do this. Then we'll say required image. I'll max it out at 2048 kilobytes. Yeah. You can see the website I'm building. Yeah. Oh, can you see? Oh, sorry, I read it wrong. So this is the admin dashboard, right, of that website particularly. And the website itself is this one, which is my personal portfolio, of course. So I'm just dealing with it like this. But I'll do a tour after I'm done with the main structures. Right, so I'll do a tour after I'm done with the main structures so that we can be able to go over it. So the admin dashboard is what I'm working on right now. And we're on the testimonial section, but we're on the create side of things at the moment. So if I were to the reason why I'm taking my time to also like show everything really is because I'm speed running through this before 6:30 hits. I'm trying to get to a certain substantial amount of code that I can now say, okay, let me just commission this site so that it can be available for everybody to see. It's actually live at the moment. If you go to stevenyanumba.com, which is my personal website. If you go to stevenyanumba.com, you'll find that it's live, just like that. So yeah, it's based on a series of themes that I found online, but combined all of like maybe 3 or 4 of them using not themes, but libraries, very many libraries actually. So there's some scroll libraries like Wow and Fade-In. There's, which other one? There's Jaralax. I'm sure Jaralax is here as well. And yeah, I got some few items like this. So if I watch this live, I can build that in, if you watch this, Now that depends. It depends. It depends also on where you want me to start, because you see, I did this live because I wanted to be able to interact a little bit more with people who have a lot more questions about code generally, so that we can be able to figure out how to code much faster, use AI tools on coding much faster. As you can see, I'm also using ChatGPT also for assistance here and there. Going back to documentation without actually having to go and look at tutorials, because tutorial hell is a real thing. And yeah, I've escaped tutorial hell. I escaped tutorial hell in 2020, I believe. And I feel like it's very essential and very necessary that most people or more coders are out here actually coding useful applications without having to go back to the tutorials. So now something like this, you see, this is UI that I've used before, like in the admin panel. This is UI I've used before. If I could show you, like let's say for example, there's so many times I've come in here and built so many different apps using the same UI. This is a HR solution, right, that I've built using the same UI. If I was to show you the ins and outs of this application, you'd wonder, like, okay, if you go back to the code, it's a bit more complex. But if you look at what is actually out here, things like, generating payrolls, for example, being able to see the amounts that are being described over here. I shouldn't even be showing you the live applications, really. But yeah, if we're going over various situations, you can use the same UI for backside admin panels. You can create those things and use them over and over and over again. This actually, I will tell you this is a very big thing. It's based on UI that is already existing online, that is already free to use. If you go to admin LTE, for example, admin LTE is what I've used most of my admin panels for. If you go into the live preview, you'll definitely see. So you can see it's more or less the same. It's just that I've changed a few things to make it my own as well, like in terms of the application. You can see this and this, where's this? They're the same. Actually, they're pretty much the same. Yeah, because you can see the font is the same, the color scheme is different, definitely, but the kind of structure that we'll be building with is the same. So, in essence, I'm just trying to bring forward the fact that you can use all of these things and still be validated as a dev, because you're literally solving problems using code that you've already been, accustomed to using. And all you just need to understand is, okay, how am I going to use this similar structure of code in order to solve problems that are occurring or reoccurring? Like this HR solution, for example. Right? This HR solution was born out of a problem that I had in the workplace, where employees would come in and go and then claim cash based on days that they've shown up to work, but they've not really, they've not really earned whatever it is that they need to earn. So you come in here and you track their attendance, validate their attendance, and all that stuff. So things like this, right? This guy's worked for 30 days, let's say, for example. If I want to come in and remove, like maybe say this day he falsified work, this day he falsified work, this day he falsified work, then I come back here, look at his attendance, and it's already, where is it? I think it's this one right here, this one here. Yeah, things like that, managing attendance, calculating payroll, enabling these guys to be able to bring out their own P9 forms and all that stuff. Is it Laravel 11 or 10? So this app that you're looking at right now is built in Laravel 9 and Livewire version 2. This app I'm building here is built on Laravel 11 and version 3 of Livewire. Yeah, so it, again, just as I was trying to point out, like for Laravel, like if I was even to show you the different, the code bases, let's say, for example, I look at the edit of this and look at the structure of this save functionality over here, and then I'll open that same application that with the HR application and show you. Although this one I will not make available on Git. I'll make my personal portfolio available on Git. I won't make this one available on Git. But this application, if you look at the code base of the Livewire, first of all, it's inside HTTP. Okay. On this other one, it's inside app Livewire. It's not inside HTTP. Okay. Then you look at the structure of the edit. So admin, we go to edit of the admins. And then you look at this, how I've structured my try-catch over here. So if you see, you can definitely see that we have this this function over here, this emit. This is how we do emission of events, right? But inside Laravel 11 and inside Livewire 3, we do dispatch, right? Emit doesn't work anymore in Livewire version 3. All right, then of course the structures have changed, like how we do middleware. So if I have done middleware over here, the check permissions, I think I reviewed middleware earlier in the stream. If we do middleware over here, we to register the middleware, we have to go to Bootstrap app and then register it over here, rather than here where we did middleware over here, like let's say for example the administrator middleware, and then we declared it inside our kernel, which is over here, right? So yeah, admin. All right, that's how we register our middleware inside Laravel version 9, and I think version 10 as well. Version 11, it's like this. So yeah, that's the difference, the differences between all these different Laravel situations. Although it's very easy to adapt, I really can't say much about that. So let's just continue here. So we're just going to go to the testimonials. We do .card header h5. I'm going to do a deflex over here. And then over here on h5 list, this is inside my create. Actually, there's no need for a deflex. I don't think there's a need for deflex. And I still use Bootstrap version 4, by the way. In Laravel 11, they hide the middleware inside the app. I don't think they do, really, because if you look at the documentation, they give you the exact middlewares that they're already declared initially, so that you can be able to, manipulate that if you look at the documentation. All the same, all the middleware that you will never change or you'd never touch is not being shown essentially in the application. All you're just being given is, okay, what do you want to use globally? What do you want to use and manually define for each route that you want to get? Like, for example, if you want to, right, let's compare again, right? If you look at all these routes, right, the only ones that I have created here are admin, employee, security guard, and subscribed, and I think API employee. I think those are the ones I created, okay? The rest are all created by Laravel. The rest I will not touch whatsoever. I won't touch auth basic, auth sessions, cache headers, can, guest. I won't touch auth. I'll never touch auth, okay? Now, given that that's what Laravel have already known, that people are not touching the auth situation, then they will not even enable us to declare it. Like, they will not allow us to even have a look at it. But even if you want to have a look at it, then you can go ahead and I think you can have a look at it. I'm not entirely sure. So I'll go to PHP Artisan Vendor Publish, and then I'll be able to see which, if I'm able to see the middleware, I'm not sure where they are. Actually, yeah, you're not allowed to see the middleware. But I'll figure it out. Eventually, I'll figure it out. Then I'll also do a separate video on that. I've been doing live streams mostly. But if we look at how this situation happens, right? If I go to my Bootstrap app, okay, and you see, I've created an alias called permission, right? And this one is usually dynamic, right? If I use a colon together with this permission, colon, and then I type the permission, then it passes that permission here, right? It passes that permission here and uses it inside this check over here, right? So that's how it works. But that's how I've registered it. If I want to use that same middleware, if I want to use a different middleware on the entirety of the application without having to declare it inside the routes, then I come in here and go to app, middleware. I'll come in here and say middleware. And then I'll come in here and say use, okay? Or append, right? So append it's appending to the application's global stack, right? So if I append, it means that it comes after all the other default permissions that come within the application. The other function that I could probably use is prepend, which comes before all the default middleware that are declared in the application. It just takes a matter of going back to the documentation and looking at laravel.com. We're just going to come in here and go to the documentation. We go to the middleware, which is inside the digging deeper, I believe. Is it digging deeper or the basics? I think it's the basics middleware. And then we come here in defining middleware, right? So to see the global middleware, right? These are the global middleware. You can see trust proxies, handle calls, prevent requests during maintenance, validate post size, trim strings, and then there's convert empty strings to null, right? Those are the general middleware. It's used all over the application, not just the routes, but like everywhere in the application. So if there's a request a HTTP request that's being pushed, these are the ones that are triggered first before the HTTP request is validated. Right. So yeah, and if you want to, like you see, this append comes in after, right? Comes in after. All these are run. Then if you want to prepend, comes before. If you want to just simply register simply want to register the middleware, just use the, let's just go back to that application, just use the alias, right? The alias function. That's what runs. Yeah. So with that being said, I think that explains middleware very well. I don't know. If you have any other questions about middleware, man, feel free, man. All questions are going to be answered today. So I'm just going to come in here, create testimonial. Then inside here, we're going to do card body. Row, column MD6, right? Now this column MD6, I'm going to do it times 2 because I'm going to have here an input. This input is going to be for the author. So just coming here from input, author, enter author's name. And is 11 months enough to learn PHP and Laravel with 4 hours a day and 6 days a week of learning? 4 hours a day and 6 days a week of learning. 4 hours a day, 6 days a week of learning, I would actually be able to grasp Laravel alone in maybe a month. PHP is like, I think you just need to understand the syntax and the purpose of the syntax. Because, let me put it in perspective, right? What I'm doing right now here is inside a blade.php, but what I'm actually just simply coding is HTML, okay? If I was to come in here, let's say I open a new window or open a new folder and just, let's say open a new folder, I create the folder inside my desktop app and I come in here and do, let's say let's say a new folder, right? So I've created a folder called test project, right? I come in here, I create index.php, right? And I come in here and start with PHP, and now I'm able to now start creating, let's say, a variable over here. I'm able to start understanding what this thing is supposed to give. So I'll say echo, echo, this works, right? I close that off, and then I say, let's say I want to run this. So I'll run it on in behind, maybe say in behind HUD or Apache or something, right? I've forgotten how to run all this inside Apache, honestly, because I've been using Laravel HUD for a very long time. Well, here's the thing, okay? What you just need to understand about PHP in order to understand it in about, maybe say, because you've given yourself a time frame of 11 months. What you just need to understand with PHP, you can understand it completely in maybe say a maximum of 2 months, maximum. What you just need to understand is, first of all, what are variables? Okay. What kind of variables are there? Types of variables. And I'm going to zoom into this so that you can actually see this, right? The types of variables. Okay, so the types of variables, I know that, what? Actually, let me just do the comments. Forgotten how to do comments here. Is it? I've forgotten how to do the multi-line comments, honestly. Okay, so the types of variables I know are, let's say, a string. Right? Let's say we have integers, right? We have arrays. We have objects. We have, what else? What else do we have? So strings, integers. We also have floats, decimals. We have so many other different things, right? Need to understand that those are basically the basic data types that I can remember. These are the data types of variables. Let's call it data types. Okay. Now these data types are stored inside variables, right? That's what variables are used for. You move on to now trying to understand why do you want to try and store these variables? Well, it's because, well, we want to use these various variables in different parts of our application. If I'm taking into context this this application here, okay. Now that you've given yourself a time frame of 11 months, I will say, with 4 hours a day and 6 hours a week, 6 days a week, I would have learned PHP alone, maybe say 3 weeks or 2, depending on your level of understanding. I would give it maximum 2 months. Then when you're going to understand variables, data types, and all that stuff, object-oriented programming is another very key thing. So object-oriented. So in object-oriented programming, you'll learn about classes. You'll learn again about variables inside the classes. You'll learn about functions. Functions are also called methods in some other languages, I believe. You'll learn about, loops. I think loops should have actually even come before that. Types of functions. So types. So there are those that are static, which means that they don't give a result or don't return a result. And there are those that are, void functions are the ones that don't return results. The static ones and are the ones that return results. If that's how I recall it, that's what I use to remember all these different things. I may be wrong, but I mean, yeah. It's been a long time since I dealt with the basics, honestly. But once you're done with the basics and then you go into the advanced levels, the basics actually just flow into the advanced levels as though you don't actually really need to remember them. And that's why when I talk of Laravel being the principal point of starting your learning after you've learned how to deal with the syntax of code, when you go into a framework, you don't really deal with the basics anymore. The basics are dealt with for you. Like, say, for example, within Laravel, if I'll start a Laravel project right now, I will not have anything to do with authentication, right? Because I'll start with Laravel, and then I'll install Jetstream right out of the gate, right? I'll go to Jetstream, choose maybe Livewire or Inertia, choose the stack that I will use in Inertia if I'm choosing Inertia, like if I'm using Vue.js, if I'm using, React or Angular, for those guys who use Angular still. Svelte, sorry, not Angular, Svelte. And within those three front-end frameworks, I'll still be using the Laravel backend, and I'll still be using the same code base to manage everything. You need to know how to structure your database. Your database is the most important thing in an application. In fact, it's the first thing that you need to do whenever you're starting your Laravel application. Because once you structure out your database, you'll know exactly what is going into your database, and therefore your front end comes into mind very quickly. So now, because I know in my testimonials table, I have author, content, designation, and image, then I already know inside my form, I'm going to have a column for, I'm going to have a form that takes in the author's name, the content that this author wanted to put up, the designation. So I'll come in here and say, let's say I want to do the author's designation as well. I'll come in here and say I want to do the author's designation, and then enter author's designation. And the help text, of course, I'll just keep them there. Actually, it is muted text, so I'll just keep it danger. And then over here, I'll do a column 12, and this column 12, I'll take a text area, right? So another thing, before you even go and dive deep into the back end, you need to understand your front end. And you need to understand your front end. I feel like I'm talking to you as though I'm not talking to a beginner. So all these different things, I will create a separate live stream or a separate video that basically starts from the very beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's where I will begin from when it comes to the code, right? I will start from the very beginning of HTML. I'll go to CSS, the basics, because I also can't quite recall everything to do with CSS. I can recall the basics. I can recall understanding how to go about it, and then what it is that you need to understand in order to go to the advanced levels. And then I will also go to the backend languages. So if you want PHP, we can do PHP. If you want Python, we can do Python. If you want backend JavaScript, we can do JavaScript. First we have to do JavaScript for the front end, the basic JavaScript for the front end, and then we'll go to the Node.js level where we deal with JavaScript for the backend. Or we can do PHP, or we can do Python, or we can do Ruby on Rails. It just doesn't matter. All backend languages are the same. All backend languages are the same. So it just needs you to understand the structure and the syntax. And then from there onwards, like, you can pretty much build anything. I could build the same portfolio application using Django and Python. but the structure will still remain the same. The UI will still remain the same. Maybe even the performance. Maybe the performance will remain the same. Maybe this one in PHP might be better. Who knows? Yeah. So that's my take on things. I think 4 months, man. 4 months with 4 hours a day, 6 days a week of learning, you'll get this thing in 4 months. You'll get this thing easily in 4 months. Yeah. I've taken so long to answer that question. I'm sorry. But yeah, let's just go on. Text area with the form control. The name, I think this text area is just fine. I think we should have actually used Bootstrap text area like this one. And then we go ahead and do the content. And then I think that's enough. Then we come in here and do the image, column 12. And then for image, I'll do input type file. So form inputs. And then I'll come in and say image. There's no placeholder for a type file, so I'm just going to come and delete all these. Input type text, I'll check that and do file. Label for image. No worries, man. No worries. Anytime. Any more questions, just feel free, man. Danger. Text danger. The reason why I'm doing this as text danger is simple, really. So, thing is, I'm going to use this for errors. Okay, and then I'll come in here and say testimonial dot author, and then I'll come in here and paste this here, and then I'll come here and just do message. So then I'll come in here and select all of these. So I'll come in here, cut this first. Actually, let me cut this. And then, because all of these 4 fields are the same, so designation, content, and image. So this one for image should be a variable on its own. So this is the table that we're dealing with. Message here should be a variable. So yeah, I think so far so good. I need a placeholder for this one. Enter content, enter the content, enter the content. Okay, so if I come into my app here, go to the create testimonials, I think we'll be ready for this. So you can see author, designation, content, and image. And now I need to go to the create side of things. Is Laravel PHP enough to make Capstone projects? What's Capstone project? Actually, probably I'm in the dark. Capstone. A capstone project is a culminating academic project that students complete at the end of the academic program. Oh, yeah, it is. We called that our. Here in Kenya, we call that an information systems project, where at the end of our study year, Like at the end of our 4 years, we submit a project that solves problems, right? A real world problem. Let's see this definition. A capstone project is a culminating academic project that students complete at the end of their academic program. It's a comprehensive project that requires students to apply their knowledge and skills to address a real-world problem, exactly, yeah, or topic of interest. Capstone projects are also known as synthesis and capstone projects, senior synthesis, and other terms. Okay. So we call it IS project, and it is definitely enough. When I did my IT degree, I did my project in Laravel PHP. I was dealing with it in Laravel 6, version 6, I believe, and I created. Should I even say what I created? I shouldn't say what I created. I created an. I don't know. I'm not going to say what I actually created. Okay, you know what? Yeah. Now, got me into saying what it is that I created. Actually, guilt tripped me because I don't know, man. If I start pushing this, I'll probably start giving you guys ideas, and I'll probably be. I don't know. I'm afraid that I'll be sued for that by the schools that you guys are studying in, because our school did that one time. Some guys got some project ideas from YouTube, and they were discredited. So they were told they just need to sit down and be original. But if I give you the idea that I had, I don't know. Okay, no, screw it, because it's not going to implicate on me anyway. It's up to you guys. I created a learning management system, one that involves hybrid learning, so that students, in cases where they can't make it to campus, they can study, or rather they can attend class online, so that it's a hybrid session. So guys are in session at class, and then there are also guys who are in session online, also asking questions together with the rest of the class. And it advances into also management of attendance. It advances into dealing with examinations. It advances into also teachers marking up CATs and stuff like that. So examination processes and CATs are all. CATs are continuous assessment tests. I don't know if that's a global term. I don't know, because that's what we used as terms in school. So all these different levels of evaluation are put all under one roof, including attendance, including class management, reviewing classes in the sense that if this class is being live streamed online, then you can access this class again so that you can be able to also check in on your attendance. And by the time your exams come in, you're already eligible to sit down for exams, because there's a legibility that is set in stone, maybe say 33% absence before you attend class. So I built an application based around that, or rather didn't finish it, but built it centered on the idea of hybrid learning. And I built it just as far as to be able to do the live streaming using this application that I'm using right now to live stream to YouTube, OBS. So yeah, that is how I dealt with the whole. Now I know it's a capstone project. It's called Capstone project. Yeah, I learned something new today, thanks to you guys. Capstone project. Yeah, it is definitely enough. Definitely enough. All you just need to know what to do is how to integrate. Because I built this in Laravel, and I built it in Laravel and Vue.js actually. By the way, it's actually online. You can go and check it. Let me actually look for it. Where's my GitHub? I can't quite remember where I put it. Can't quite remember where I put it, but I know it's somewhere here inside my main page. It's private. Yeah, I know why it's private, because this is an idea I had for a very long time, and I thought it's something that I am probably going to leverage into building to be something substantial. But you know what? It's been 2 years. I might as well just allow people to use it, right? So I'm just going to come in here, change visibility to public. Authentication code. And yeah, now it's public, so you guys can check it out. Steve Nyanumbas /flow_e-learning. So I built it up till the point where live streaming was a possibility, and it was amazing. Gave me an A, actually, 94. Strong A. So yeah, you can build it. You can try, see the ins and outs of this, and you'll be fine, I believe. You'll be A-okay. Actually, I haven't seen the health of this stream, so I'm just gonna open YouTube for some. Flow, it took me maybe 4 months, because I started it in the previous semester, but then I was on and off. And then also there was some features that were a bit taxing. So for Flow e-learning, it took me about 4 months to build it. Yeah, but if you do it consistently, knowing the technologies that you're going to incorporate, like FFmpeg, what's this, RTMP? You need to understand what RTMP is. Those are different protocols that allow you to deal with live streaming, right? So there's HLS, which is HTTP live servers, RTMP, which is real-time media protocol or something like that, multimedia protocol. Then, of course, HTTP, which is your general HTTP. You need to host these different servers on different ports. You need to understand the networking aspect of things. So the different ports, like if you're doing HTTP or HTTPS, HTTP normally is on either port 80 or port 443, and HTTPS, it's normally on 8080 or 8443. Oh, no, sorry, the other way around. 80 or 8080 is for HTTP. 8443 or 443 is for HTTPS. Then now you take the RTMP servers, I think it was 1397 or something like that. 1937 is the port that is default for RTMP. But you can use whatever ports that you want as long as they're not occupied by a different server. And all I'm just stating is the best practice. So you need to understand that as well. You need to understand which levels of hosting you're going to be using, how to deploy these servers and make them work at the same time. When I was deploying this application, I used Heroku. And Heroku has this thing within it that doesn't allow you to access 2 servers at the same time. So you need to pay for the second server, or rather pay for the activation of the second server. Heroku used to be free. I don't know what they decided on us, because now you can't do any deployment on Heroku for free. You have to pay for something. So yeah, I think 4 months is a bit of a long time for you to create a capstone project. Capstone projects usually are supposed to take you 2 months. And my downfall at that particular time is that I wasn't taking it as seriously because I felt like I was already too good. You never, ever, ever put yourself in that position where you're too proud to think that, okay, I'm too good. I'm all right by myself. Never, ever, 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 ever. 2 months is the maximum you should be taking for a capstone project. Yeah. And then there's some who, like, are lazy enough to actually, like the main reason why I would be okay and be willing to live stream all of my projects on YouTube and all that is because even if I do so, and these are projects that are probably earning me money right now, and I'm showing people like, this is what I'm doing, so that my money is coming in, like, people will acknowledge it. People will see it as though, yes, I'm actually doing something for the community. But the truth of the matter is, not many people are willing to go the extra mile to learn whatever it is that it takes to get to that point, to get to that level, to understand what kind of, what kind of code you need to be bringing forward in order to make a substantial amount of money or to achieve a certain result or to, just do what is necessary within the business that you're trying to operate. So that's the problem. That's the problem that there is right now in the development community, in the development space. Everyone is seeking for help, but at the moment you're seeking for help, you're not willing to go the extra mile to understand where this help is coming from and how to go from there, how to pick up from there. So don't be like that. Don't be like, those kinds of developers. Try as much as you can to understand to the bare bones what is going on in the backbone of your code, and push it forward much further, and you'll start being you'll be amazing. Honestly, you'll be amazing. Like, I think bringing this structure, like, I've done the structure of this admin panel so many times that it literally took me 3 hours to just pull this up and make sure that this is working. And then it took me another, like, maybe 10 minutes to make sure all these links are up and running. And the reason why that is because I'm not afraid to use AI tools, because AI tools have been made available to us for free or for a fee. Yeah, for free or for a fee. But all the same, they're being made available to us. Right now, I'm on the free package for ChatGPT. It's ChatGPT Auto. But if I wanted to, of course, I've been paying for ChatGPT for a substantial amount of time. And I've been using it in so many different situations, right? Desktop app frameworks, for example, in August, right? I've been dealing with trying to learn Android. Of course, I understood Android to some degree. It's been assisting me in some different situations for Android and all that. And it's fun. It's fun to code using AI tools, because even like in some situations, it helps. It helps in speeding up the development process, right? If I wanted to use AI for this entire project, I could, right? I could. I actually will. In fact, I actually will. Because let's face the bare bones, right? We have our testimonials table, right? We have our testimonials table, for example, right? We'll go to our testimonials table. We'll take this, right? We'll say this is my testimonials table, and I need my Livewire components for create, read, create, index, and edit to be done, right? So I'll come in here. I'll say, okay, above is my testimonials table, right? What am I going to ask it? give me the Livewire components, or Livewire models and components for create PHP, edit.php, and index.php. And then I'll just tell it in emphasis, I am using Livewire 3. Normally this AI tools default to Livewire version 2, but now watch. So you see, it's even given me my fillables, right? I need these fillables if I am going to use the create function rather than initializing each and every single content. Now, if I go on forward, you can see the protected rules, right? Author, content, designation, image. Now the image, we have the image path over here, right? My table here has image. Okay, so we have the image path here. This image, if this image exists, then this image store testimonials public or null. And now we have testimonial create, and this is how we do it. And then we're going to do a try catch, because this is a function in PHP that is more asynchronous than synchronous. Compared to using Eloquent, this is the way that we go. So this is what I'm going to do. Exactly what it has just told me to do is exactly what I'm going to do, and it's going to work. As long as I also know my code, I know what it is that I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to come in here, go to the create of these testimonials. Okay. Actually, I'm just going to go to the testimonial section over here. I'm going to add my protected fillables. Okay. And then I'm going to come in here into the create functions over here. I'm going to copy the rules. Okay. These rules are not for live. These rules and the binding of these rules are not for Livewire version 3. So I'm just going to come in here and just replace it in the format of Livewire version 3. Okay. I'm going to max out the image at 2048 kilobytes. And then my mount function is okay. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Then I'm going to come in here and go to the public save and do it like this. Now, the reason why I keep this as the save function rather than this one is because of this function here, the create function. Okay. Now, the only thing that I need to do now in this situation is come in here and replace all of this here. Then with file uploads. So I'm just going to come in and say use with file uploads, because I am uploading a file through this image variable. And yeah, I think this is just fine. Actually, I don't need this mount function because I'm already using the create function over here. And then now I'll just use this try catch. So I'm just going to come in here and I will cut all of this, put try catch, paste it, and then paste the dispatch that I had declared initially. And this will work as easy as that, because if I come in here, go to the testimonials, I've created all this. Now I just need the button. So I'll just come in and say do btn.btn.btn doc. Then I say what? Submit or save. And then I'll come in here, do a wire click, save. Let's see if it works. Okay, So I'm just going to come in here, refresh this, click on save, and then you can see something went wrong. The author field is required and one more. So the author field is required. Image is not required. I don't think image should be required. So if I come in here into the create, image is nullable, as you can see. If I come in here inside this section, image is fine, okay. Over here it should be content. Actually now, these error messages are not necessary because they're being pushed through the, what's this thing called? The toasts, this thing, this toasting messages, right? So because it's not being pushed there, let's say it actually gets pushed through there. The only way to do that is by putting the validation outside the try catch. And by that, you'll be able to see the errors. So if I click on save, it will have to come at the bottom, but I don't know. It's not coming to the bottom, and the reason why it's not coming to the bottom is because of this. So anything with testimonial dot needs to go. Okay. So now once I click on save, you can see the author field is required, the content field is required, designation is not required. Then we have the image path, which is not required really, but you can see there it's working fine. Now over here, I'll just do wire model, and then we'll do author, and over here wire model, and here we'll do designation. Here we have wire model content, and here we have wire model image, thank you so much, bro. I learned a lot from you today. Anytime, man. Come again, and we'll learn a lot more. I'm also still learning. I'm also not shy from learning. So we'll all be learning together, and hopefully we'll see you again very soon. I'm ending the stream at 6:30 p.m. That's East African time. So that is in about 11 minutes from now. 11 minutes from now, so that I can start Sabbath. So yeah, this is the last component that we are doing. So as you can see, author field is required, content field is required. So if I decided that those error messages are not going to show up there and they're going to show up inside my toast, I'm going to wrap it inside my try catch so that I can do that. Right. So every time I hit save, I want it to reset everything, right? I want to reset the errors. How do I reset the errors? I don't have time to go into the documentation. This reset validation, you see that? Reset. Okay. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it works. Easy. Very easy. So my chat GPT is still forming all this stuff. So this reset validation, that's okay. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're doing well so far with this. Now we need the edit. So we can see the index, right? The index is just a list of all the in fact, let's just copy the index. I don't really just copy like that, right? And then you see here in this div, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do x slot colon header, and then I'm just going to say testimonials. And then I'm going to come in here and say list of testimonials. Then we have this card body. If session has message, I don't want the alerts really. I don't want the alerts. No. Card body table. I'm going to come in here and do table responsive inside the card body, and then we are good. Here in the actions, I'm just doing a class text center. And then here inside these TDs, like this one, for example, I'm just going to come in here and do class text center again. So like this, if we come in here, go to the testimonials overview, of course, we need the variable of the testimonials. So if I come back to my index over here, I'm just going to come in here and do testimonials, testimonial, and I want it to be paginated, but let's just do all the testimonials. Just like that. And once that is done, we push through. So there's no testimonials table. Interesting. So PAM, which is PHP Artisan Migrate. Now this command works only for me. PAM. What the hell? Okay, let's open another terminal. PAM. Yeah, testimonials has worked. Okay, boom. So we have the list of testimonials. There we go. We have the table, which is good. What I'd want really is for each testimonial to have an ID. So I'll just come in here, do the hashtag, and then I'll come in here and do the ID. And inside this for each, I'll wrap it under an if else. So the else is here. So if testimonials, I've done the exclamation point to negate if there are no testimonials, then just come in here and do a h1.text center. There are no testimonials. Like that. That's interesting. How about we do this? Testimonials count is 0. So it's not greater than 0. No, it's less than or equal to 0. Sorry, there's not less than or equal to 0. What was I doing? Okay, there we go. So there are no testimonials. This table shouldn't even be showing anyway. So I'm just going to go all the way till the table, and then this else is supposed to so if, so I'll climb with this till above the table. So else, and if should be below the table. And there we go. So if I refresh this list of testimonials, there are no testimonials. In the process, I also want to add, so inside the card adder deflex, much like the index of users, actually, yeah, much like this. So I'm just going to copy this. You can see I don't really need to copy, I don't really need to redo the code or rethink the code. I just drive it again. And then I do FA testimonials. So now my testimonials have an icon, and it's FA comments. So comments. So list of testimonials. And then we come in here, we say admin testimonials, create. Then we come in here and do a plus instead. Add a new testimonial. So now when I refresh this, you can see list of testimonials, add new testimonial. This is now a button I can click and it goes to the testimonials create. Now that I think, well, now I can probably add give me a sample testimonial of a web designer. Okay, so I come in here, I'm just going to copy this, the designation as well, and the name. Okay, so this will take really a short time if the module already works. So if I come in here, paste the name, paste the designation, and paste that. Then I'll come in here and replace designer name with Steve Nyanumba. Right. And maybe an image. No, I don't need an image. I'll come in here and click save. So you can see something went wrong. Route testimonial index not defined. So it's supposed to be admin testimonials index not defined. So it means that if I go to the testimonials create, I will see that this route here, admin.testimonials.index, means that some of these things have already been created. Okay. They've already been created. So if I come in here and click on overview, it's already been created. Testimonials edit not defined. So you can see it's actually doing that because there's an actual testimonial that is waiting for that route. So admin.testimonials.edit, and we're good. So it's already been created. Now, how am I going to take this and put it on the front side? So we can see the testimonial section is somewhere here, right over here. So if I want to put it on the front side, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into my resources, views, Livewire, and front. And then I'm going to go to, is it front or is it components front? Let me see. And I go to, this section here is it's supposed to be a testimonial section, which is my quote, yeah. So my quote section, all right? Then I'll come in here. For each of these block quotes over here, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to cut one of them, delete the rest. And then I'll come in here and do a for each testimonials as testimonial. And then I paste that. And now here's the thing. The problem with this is that if I refresh this, I'll get an error. I get this error because there's no testimonials variable inside this my quote section. So I'm just going to go into the corresponding model of this component, and which is found inside app, view, front, and then my quote section. I'm going to start with public testimonial or testimonials. And then from there, I'm going to do a construct function. I'm going to come in and say this testimonials is equal to testimonial all, right? Now, once I do that, if I come in here into the render function of this, I'll come in here and put my data. It's more or less like Livewire, but this is not the Livewire section. This is just general Blade. This is Blade components. So I'll come in here and put testimonials, and then I'll come in here and say this testimonials. And just like that, I'm done. So I come in here and refresh, and you will be able to see that we have that quote there. So we have this, but it's just one. You can see it's just one. So now what I will do is I'll go back to my quote section. I'll come in here, remove this, okay, and put testimonial content. It's not a function. And then I'll come in here, testimonial author. And then just alongside it, I will do testimonial designation. It could be alongside, it could be a break tag. Let's try a break tag, and then we'll see if we can resize. So I'll refresh this, and then we see this part over here. So you can see, working with Steve Nyanumba has been a game changer for our online presence. The attention to detail and creative vision helped transform our dated website into, into sleek, user-friendly platform. The increased traffic and engagement since the redesign has been remarkable. They took time to understand our brand and delivered a design that truly reflects our company's values. I highly recommend Steve Nyanumba for anyone looking to elevate their web design and user experience. Sarah Johnson, Marketing Manager, Creative Solutions. We can reduce the size of this. So we can say small, and then we wrap our testimonial designation here. So watch as it comes. You can see this is definitely smaller than this. So yeah, that's how you deal with your testimonials. And this is just one. So when you're scrolling side to side, it's just like that. So I'm just going to wrap this up right now. Next, I think we will be dealing with our experiences. Now that we've done testimonials, we want to deal with experiences and resume. So experiences and education, and also portfolio. Now portfolio is going to be a bulky one, and I think it's something that I really wish to start with. But all in all, until we meet again, guys, this has been Steve Nyanumba with Nyanumba Codes. I will see you guys in the next one. Please do indeed take care. Subscribe if you're new. If you enjoyed this stream, please like. And yeah, let's continue learning in all ways that we can. So until we see each other again, please do take care, and God bless.